Once upon a time in the land of Moab, there lived a woman named Ruth. Ruth wasn't just any ordinary woman. She was filled with kindness and loyalty. But her story truly begins with tragedy. Ruth was married to a man from Israel, but sadly he passed away, leaving her and her mother-in-law Naomi alone. Naomi had already lost her husband and now 2 sons. Heartbroken, she decided to return to Bethlehem, her hometown, and invited Ruth to go back to her own family. But Ruth, filled with love, refused to leave Naomi. Instead, she said the famous words, "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." And so the 2 women journeyed to Bethlehem together. When they arrived, the townspeople were amazed to see Naomi again, but they could see the sadness in her eyes. She told them, "Don't call me Naomi," which means pleasant. "Call me Mara," which means bitter, for the Almighty has made my life very bitter. As the days passed, Ruth knew they needed food to survive, so she took it upon herself to glean in the fields. This was a common practice in those days. Poor people would follow behind the harvesters to collect leftover grain. As fate would have it, she ended up in the fields of a man named Boaz, who just happened to be a relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz noticed Ruth's hard work and kindness. He asked his workers, "Who is that young woman?" They explained her story, and Boaz was impressed by her loyalty to Naomi. With great kindness, Boaz offered Ruth extra food and protection while she worked. Ruth was grateful and asked him, "Why are you being so kind to me, a foreigner?" Boaz replied, "I've heard how you cared for your mother-in-law and how you left your home to come here. May the Lord reward you for your kindness." When Ruth came home that evening with a bounty of grain, Naomi was surprised. She learned of Boaz's generosity and realized he could be a solution to their struggles. Naomi encouraged Ruth to approach Boaz and ask him to be their family's redeemer. Taking a leap of faith, Ruth approached Boaz at night while he was working. She expressed her desire for him to take her under his wing, as he was a family redeemer. Boaz, touched by her bravery, agreed, but mentioned there was another relative who had the first right to redeem her. The next day, Boaz went to the city gate and gathered 10 elders. He approached the other relative and offered him the chance to redeem Naomi's land. The man agreed, but when he learned that marrying Ruth was part of the deal, he declined. With that, Boaz stepped up, declaring he would redeem Ruth and Naomi. They got married, and God blessed their union. Ruth and Boaz had a son named Obed, who would become the grandfather of King David and an important ancestor of Jesus Christ. The story of Ruth teaches us about loyalty, love, and redemption. It reminds us that no matter where we come from, our choices can lead to incredible blessings and hope. Thank you for joining us in this beautiful story of faith and courage. Remember, love has the power to change everything.